Now let us explore the offset function. With the help of the offset function, you can direct Excel to where to go to and what to select. So we have this function, something like this. It returns a reference to a range, that is a given number of rows and columns from a given reference. So what exactly is this reference? Just like the game of chess, you might have a starting point for each pawn or a rook or a bishop or any piece of chess. Similarly, here for the offset function, you might want to give a starting reference point, which could be anywhere on the Excel file or the worksheet. But generally, we have it relevant to the data. For example, if I give this as the starting point, okay, on the extreme top left corner for this, from here, I can direct Excel, or rather the offset function, where to move, by how many rows should it move, and by how many columns should it move. And then we can also specify the height and width. Mind you, these two parameters are in square brackets, and so these are optional. But so at least we should be able to mention how many rows to move by and how many columns to move by. Okay, let me show you an example here. First, we have a case wherein we have the list of students over here and their scores in 3 of the subjects. Now, we would like to first know John's score in economics. Well, it would always be easy to just select a cell and hit enter. That's absolutely fine. Now, there won't be any rocket science in this entire exercise over here, but still, I just want to show you the essence of, or the primary way of how the offset function works. So we have here offset. We can select this as the reference point, and from here, now where is John? He's 1 row below, so I want the offset function to come down by 1 row, so I set 1 for rows. And now we need to know the scores of economics. So John's score of economics is in the very next column, so move ahead by 1 column, close the bracket, and that's it. As simple as that. Now you might wonder why make it complicated when we could have just done it easier. Hold your horses, you'll soon understand why this is so very resourceful. Offset function by itself may not appear to add any value. At least that's how it appears so. But there is more than what meets the eye. As we proceed, you will learn this. Meanwhile, let us also try another one over here by identifying Maya's score in accounting. So we say offset. We can use the same reference point. Well, in case if you want, I can use this reference point as well. But what if I use this reference point? Then I want to know Maya's score in accounting. And their starting reference point is Maya, right? So do I want the function to move by any number of rows? Well, I do not want to, because we are already on the right row. So rows will be 0. Now columns. Now this is for accounting, and accounting is 3 columns ahead. So I'll put number 3 here, and close the bracket. That's it. Well, in case if you want to try a similar one with David's score in statistics, I can also have the starting point for the offset function as statistics with the reference point in the same column as the score required for statistics. Now I want to know, or I want to instruct offset function to move by 3 rows down, because that's where David is. So 3 rows down. And do I need to move by any number of columns? No. We want the scores of statistics, and we are already in that right column. So 0. Close the bracket. Here we have this. Now let me also add one more item in this list. I'll just move this down here and set it here. Now let's say I want Maya's score in economics. Now this would very much appear to be the same, but let me try something different here. This time I use the offset function and I will not have the reference point anywhere randomly here, but I would have it just outside the table or maybe on the last cell of the table. That should be fine. Now, I need Maya's score in economics. So Maya is 2 rows above. Okay, so now if I give a positive number 2, when you give a positive number for rows, Excel will select down by 2 rows, or rather I would say offset function will move down by 2 rows. Please cut whatever I said that Excel will know. I'll just repeat it again. So offset function will move down by 2 rows. So this is where the selection would be E10. But do we need that? No, we want it here. So if it needs to go upside for rows, we need to use a minus sign. And that's a -2. A positive 2 will make the offset function come down by 2 rows, and a -2 indicates move up by 2 rows. Now similarly for columns, here it is 2 columns to the left, economics is 2 columns to the left. So if I put 2, by default the offset function will move 2 columns to the right here in column G. But I want it to move to 2 columns to the left. So again, I need to put -2 here. And here we have this, 58. Well, in case if you want to test it without the minus sign, let me show you how does it show up. We have 2 rows and 2 columns, right? So with this starting point, it's coming down by 2 rows and moving to the right by 2 columns. If I put number 10 here, well, you see, it takes it. With this as a starting point, and if I give the row reference and column reference in positive, it came down by 2 rows and moved right by 2 columns. And whatever it had marked this particular cell. Now, whatever you enter in this cell, like test or so, it will appear here. And that's how it works. So, in order to move towards the left, that is change columns or move columns towards the left, you need to use a minus sign. And similarly, if you wanted to move up by any number of rows, you need to give the number with a negative. Now, we would also like to know, this is an extra row over here, I'll remove this. So now we would also like to know the total score of Alice. So far we had just selected a particular cell. We had identified and marked a particular cell over here, but this time we need a group of cells, right? So first let me just format this here. Now total of Alice. So it should be something like offset reference. Let's have this as a reference for now. And I need the total score of Alice. So Alice is 4 rows down, come down by 4 rows, move right by 1 column. Now, here we will explore the height and width feature. The height here represents number of rows that you want to cover from here. So, as of now, we have asked offset function to come by 4 rows down and columns by 1. So, here's where the cursor should be for the offset function, the starting point.